Is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another CW webinar. I'm Carolina, and me and my team are here to bring you the main highlights of the trade price report, in this case, the second quarter 2020 update. I hope everyone can hear me. For today's presentation, I would like to introduce myself, Carolina Pereira. I'm an advisory and research manager at CW Group, and I'm here with my colleague Juliana Vieira, who is the lead analyst of this report. Both of us are based in Portugal. Now, moving on to today's agenda. We will start with an introduction of our company, what it is that we do and what we have to offer. And we will, of course, move to the main highlights of this update, where we cover, of course, worldwide cement demand, pricing trends and outlook for trade prices, and the next work pricing snapshot, and of course ending with closing remarks and main takeaways. Now, for those of you who usually join us at our webinars, I would ask for a couple of minutes of your patience while I go through what is CW Group and basically what we do. CW Group is presented across three distinct verticals: advisory, research, and media. We'll start by focusing on the advisory vertical. CW works with major global consultancies and leading institutions. This includes the World Bank and several sovereign wealth funds on multiple projects. We provide consulting and advisory expertise on a diverse product portfolio. During these challenging times, we have helped multiple industry participants on their decision-making processes. Of course, this includes projects like feasibility studies in the Horn of Africa. We have conducted market assessments in South America, and also market entry strategies kind of lined up for a specific market in the Middle East. Now, if we move to our research branch, the one that, of course, I'm here kind of speaking on behalf of, CW focuses on producing syndicated reports. Those reports covers multiple areas like cement being basically what we are most known for, but not exclusively. We also conduct multiple reports in building materials, coal, pet coke, bulk shipping, and also the paper and pulp industry. We conduct cements when it comes to reports, I'm sorry, when it comes to cement demand at a global level, as well as detailed industry and country reports. In those, I can of course name some of our best sellers. I'm talking about the volume forecast report, VFR, this product that we are here kind of presenting today, trade prices report, but not exclusively. So I can name white cement report, the cement equipment report, sea-based trade of cementitious products reports, and much, much more. And also besides cement. In line with this, we conduct commodity price assessments for cement and clinker at a regional level. Now, and to finalize the company presentation, I would end with the media umbrella. By subscribing to our website, we provide online access to our vast database. We provide newsletters focused on cement, building materials, coal, pet coke, bulk shipping, paper and pulp industry, with the latest industry news, with what we believe is a great add-on, because all of those news are selected by our in-house research team. So all the intel is carefully selected and put together, so to capture at a global level what's happening within all of those industries. We also hold industry-specific meetings. They are called CW Summits. After the success of the Americas edition in January, where I had the pleasure to attend in Miami, we are preparing an Europe, North Africa, and Middle East edition taking place in Madrid. But of course, this will happen in the first week of December, so much, of course, later in the year. It will be great to see you there if this is something that you would be interested in, and please feel free to reach out to any of us. Now, let's move to our report highlight and what does it include. Of course, this is something that we review when we explain with much more detail in our report. But when it comes to our methodology and how we obtain the data that we present to you, and how we kind of analyze it, process it, and make it, you know, in a smart and with expertise focus on for this report. Basically, this report is updated every quarter and has an annual subscription. It focuses on gray cement, white cement, clinker, and granulated slag, mainly trade prices. We incorporate import, export, and historical prices, as well as an outlook for the next quarter, so in this case for the third quarter. And we look at regional price indices and exports, as well as retail level pricing. I encourage you to, once you received this presentation on your email, to please click on the link where it will take you to our company page, where you can, you know, read our brochure with much more detail. Now, how do we do this? And looking at the country coverage, this is done by monitoring monthly trade volumes and by obtaining market information for key markets around the world. We track 70+ countries for trading data and provide monthly prices at country, region, and global level. Now, now that I've presented the company, I've presented our report, I would like to kind of finalize my part of the presentation with a macroeconomic overview. We have been presenting webinars every other week, and since basically the beginning of March, and we always incorporate a macroeconomic section. We did it before, and of course right now with coronavirus cases reaching like more than 8.4 million, of course the impact that this has on GDP is ever growing. And looking at GDP number, the forecast numbers, the latest forecast numbers will always shine quite a bit of light on what the future holds for all industries. The global macroeconomic scenario seems at the moment to get progressively worse with each passing week as new data is released. The global economic outlook was soared even further since the IMF April 2020 update. The OECD estimates an even larger global contraction at, let's see, 7.6%, an unheard figure. And we are just in the preliminary stages of understanding the overall economic impact of this world pandemic. Looking at the page that I have right here, we are presenting the most recent update from the World Bank, published this month, June. Latin America was having a poor economic performance even prior to the pandemic, which is now expected to only make an already challenging macroeconomic scenario more complicated. This to conclude that the much speculated V-shaped recovery now appears to be more of a hope rather than based on factual economic data. Now, I would like to pass this presentation to my colleague, Juliana. She will be walking you through the meat of this report. Thank you so much. Juliana, please take it away.
Thank you, Carolina. Hello, everybody. I'm Juliana, and now I will be walking through the highlights of the report. So in South America and Western Europe, we expect to show the most significant downturn in the second quarter of 2020. In Africa, the South Africa construction sector, which was already suffering from reduced spending on large infrastructure projects, took a bigger hit at the start of 2020. In Western Europe, the German construction sector was less affected by the pandemic in comparison with other European countries such as France, Italy, and Spain. However, North and Central America are expected to witness an ex-work price increase. North America primarily due to the growth of construction activity in the US and also the increase in the cement demand in Mexico. Now, on a yearly basis, Asia-Pacific ex-works prices are expected to decrease by 2%. And in the first quarter of the year, the Chinese economy was marked by the huge impact of the Covid-19, and ex-works prices declined almost 10% in the first Q of 2020. In Russia, an economic recovery seems distant, with the government ending the partial economic shutdown at the beginning of May. Also in Russia, I seen one of the biggest slump in oil prices caused by the price war with Saudi Arabia. However, on a yearly basis, Kazakhstan ex-work prices are expected to increase during the second quarter of this year. The cement volumes weren't heavily affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the country government has implemented measures to prevent a bigger disruption in the economy. Now, in order to better understand trade price dynamics, and before we jump on the trade study, we would like to start by providing some country level insights. And when it's come to cement demand, focus on the negative impact we have Peru, where cement consumption declined by 98.2% year-on-year in April, and of course due to the temporary suspension of activities caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, and this affected the continuation of the construction works, both in the private and in the public sectors. Cement demand in Argentina collapsed as a consequence of the economic impact of the pandemic. Now, looking at the positive impact, sales of cement in Saudi Arabia during the first quarter of the current year didn't see a significant impact from the COVID-19. However, companies warned that the restriction caused delays in the key construction project, which could directly impact the cement demand in the country. Now, to provide a context of the global market scenario, I will present a volume analysis of the trade in cementitious products in the recently concluded first quarter of 2020. So globally, gray cement volumes are likely to see a decrease of almost 9% quarter-on-quarter. And Asia-Pacific Med Basin were the regions that reported the biggest export volumes during this quarter. Turkey was the largest market trading of gray and white cement, but also of clinker, while Japan was the main trader of slag. During the past quarter, Turkey's manufacturer exported gray cement, mostly to the US and Israel. And for white cement, the US, Israel, and Syria were the main markets important to Turkey. Now, focus on clinker. More than 90% of the Turkey's exports were directly to Ghana. And Japan, as I said, is the biggest slag exporter, with a share of more than 40% of the total exports, followed by India and Germany. When we talk about FOB average prices during the first Q of 2020, in quarter-on-quarter basis, North America and Caribbean were the regions with the biggest price drop of 6%, reaching just a bit less than $100 per ton, while Middle East prices increased around 3% quarter-on-quarter. On a yearly basis, Med Basin FOB cement prices decreased by around 8%, reaching almost $47 per ton. The region represented 30% of the global traded volume during the quarter. Now, in the second Q of the year, gray cement prices are likely to remain almost flat when compared to the first Q, while clinker prices are expected to increase by around 1%. The Med Basin is likely to continue to be one of the major regions to export gray cement during the next quarter, the second quarter of the year. We also provide an overview of gray cement FOB prices, and between our estimations of prices in the second Q to our forecast to the third Q, we can see that Western Europe and Sub-Saharan Africa will likely to see a decline. North America, Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Eastern Europe are expected to witness an increase of FOB prices. To give an idea, for North America, we forecast that price could increase to around $101 per ton, while in Western Europe, prices are likely to see a decrease of around 79 per ton. When we look at China, Scandinavia, and Baltics, South America, and the Med Basin, we expect to witness a stable scenario. Now I would like to leave you with our closing remarks of our report. Please note that we focus on the highlights of this update, and for more detailed information you can find available in our report, of course. So in the second Q of 2020, on a yearly basis, ex-works prices showed wide regional variations when looking at price decline in Eastern Europe and increase in North America. Once again, Turkey remained the largest exporter of grey and white cement and clinker, while Japan takes the lead for slag. Despite COVID-19, cement and clinker prices have exhibited relative stability over the last few months. And overall, when we talk about the grey cement FOB prices, we expect to see small variations across regions into the third quarter of this year. This is, of course, a natural effect of the trade agreement, and it will be very interesting to see what the future holds for the trade dynamics and pricing strategies. Now I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and see you on our next webinar.